Do you know how to use all 9 of the modal verbs in English? Well, today we will look at all of them in just 5 minutes. Modal verbs are verbs that change the meaning of a sentence. They take the bare infinitive. So for example, we can say you must go, not you must to go. Or he must go, not he must goes. And modal verbs have no conjugation either, so they always stay the same even with I must, you must, and he must. So let's try this. I'll explain all 9 modal verbs in just 5 minutes. Or at least I will try to do it. Let's see how we go. The 9 modal verbs are must, should, can, could, will, would, shall, might, and may. So let's get straight into it. Must is used for obligations and rules. If we say you must wear a helmet when you ride a bike, this is a rule. You need to do this. And if I say you mustn't cheat in an exam, this is an action that is prohibited. You're not allowed to do it. We also use must for strong advice. You must take our course on modal verbs means this is a really good idea. But we also use must to speculate. It means that we are certain about something. He has been running for 4 hours. He must be tired means we're sure he is tired. Should isn't as strong as must. We use it when something is a good idea or the right thing to do. But it isn't a rule. We normally use it to give advice. For example, I think you should watch this series on modal verbs after this lesson. Now we can also use should for speculation. Again, it isn't as strong as must. It means something is probable. You should be more confident with modal verbs after this video. Well, that's my prediction. Can is used to talk about ability or possibility. For example, I can speak Italian, but I can't speak French. Possibility or permission could be can I have a coffee or can I take this seat? Could is closely related to can. It can be considered the past form and the conditional form of can. As the past form of can, it means that something was possible or you were able to do something in the past. For example, I could ride a bike when I was 4 years old, but not very well. We can use could for a conditional possibility too. For example, in this video we are covering modal verbs in just 5 minutes, but I could talk about modal verbs all day. And finally, we use the conditional meaning of could to be polite. Like when we say, please could I have a coffee? The meaning is please could I have a coffee if it isn't a problem for you. Now, will. We use will to describe the basic future. This covers spontaneous decisions, future facts, and predictions. And the negative of will is often contracted to won't. Okay, a spontaneous decision is a decision made in the moment, like at a restaurant when we say, I'll have a margarita pizza please. That's my favourite. An example of a future fact is that my birthday will be on a Monday this year. It's certain that this will happen. And we can also use it for predictions. Like, I think you will be able to use modal verbs really well after this video. Well, what about would? Would is used to show a conditional or hypothetical element to a sentence. We often use it in the second conditional with if. For example, if you studied more, you would get better grades. And we can also use it in phrases like would like to be more polite or formal. When we're ordering food, we often say, I would like the steak, please. Now, shall. Shall is very specific. We only use it in the first person, so with I or we, and only in questions, when we make a suggestion or offer. For example, shall I make you a tea? Well, that's an offer. Or shall we go cycling at the weekend? That is a suggestion. Okay, now on to might. We use might for probability. We're saying that something is possible. For example, it might rain at the weekend, so I don't think we'll go to the beach. May is very similar to might, but it also has an extra meaning. We can use may for possibility, like I may have another coffee after this lesson. And we can use it to give or ask for permission. For example, may I go to the toilet? Yes, you may. And we've made it. All 9 modal verbs in 5 minutes. Which of these modal verbs do you feel more confident about now? Let us know in the comments. But let's quickly review them to make sure those meanings are clear. Must is for obligations and rules, but we also use it for strong advice and speculation. Should is for advice and speculation. Can is for ability and possibility. Could has many meanings, but the past form of can, the conditional form of can, and the polite or formal form of can are the most common. Will is the future verb. It's used for spontaneous decisions that we make in the moment, and future facts and predictions. Would is the conditional verb. It shows something is hypothetical, but it can also be used to be polite with the phrase would like. Shall is only used for making offers and suggestions in the first person, and might is for probability in the future. And last but not least is may. May is similar to might. It's used for probability, but it can also be used for giving and asking for permission. Okay, we've looked at all 9 modal verbs today, and this overview should help you recognize them and understand their core meanings. But as you've probably noticed, modal verbs can be quite subtle, and their meaning often depends on context. So now it will be important to practice them. So check out the link in the description to see our modal verb series, which goes deep into each of these modal verbs and helps you use them like a pro. And coming up now is a great video for practicing modal verbs with coffee break English. That's it for today. Happy practicing and happy coffee breaking.